Yeah.
Karl, in recent weeks, people are starting to jockey for position for president and nominations, or we're looking for little tidbits of what's to come in this big fight for the nomination. That's just going to start in January, February. And recently, on my show, both Palin and Huckabee seem to indicate that they're concerned that the Bushes or people connected to the Bushes are trying to kind of push them out of the running. Let's listen.
The Bushes never supported me, and I know that they did not want me to be president. That's very obvious. I'm not one that has ever been favored by the establishment Republicans. I never will be. I get that. I didn't go to the right schools.
I think the majority of Americans don't want to put up with the blue bloods who want to pick and choose their winners.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that was unnecessary. Look, I know what Governor Palin was responding to, which was a comment by former First Lady Barbara Bush. But look, Barbara Bush is 80-some-odd years old, and she's entitled to her opinion, as is everybody. And to look, Barbara Bush, World War II young bride, moves with her husband to Bakersfield, California, and then lives in a duplex in Odessa, Texas, that they share with a prostitute. I've been to the boyhood home that they upgraded to in Midland.
But why
Texas.
is that relevant? Why is that relevant to whether the elites don't want Palin to run, Karl?
Well,
that's the concern, is that the elites don't want Palin and Huckabee to run.
Governor Palin ought to be confident. She's got a right to run. All she got to do is pay the filing fee and form a committee. And it's confident leaders don't take us. Look, Barbara Bush is entitled to her opinion and entitled to respect. Let her. The best thing to do is say, I love Barbara Bush. She was a great first lady, and move on.
She did say that. Yeah, I mean, she did say that. She said she really likes
absolutely.
the Bushes.
And look, Governor Huckabee again. Look, with all due respect to my Fox colleague. He doesn't need to be saying, "Oh, well, they weren't for me." Look. Do you think Ronald Reagan was sitting there saying, "Well, George Bush was not for me"? I mean, look, just move on. You're making the best argument you can for yourself. Jump into the race if you like to. I think it is frankly healthy. I think right now we got 11 of these people who are thinking about running in alphabetical order. Barber, Daniels, Gingrich, Huckabee, Jindal, Palin, Pawlenty, Pence, Romney, Santorum, Thune. And look, I think it's going to be healthy for the party for us to have everybody jump in. And let them go out there and spend the next year making the case for themselves and making the case against President Obama and letting people know what they got and showing that they can unite the party and reach outside the party like Ronald Reagan did. And we'll be healthier at the end of the year if done right.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but none of these people needs to. It's just unseemly to say, well, they don't. They're trying to keep out. Nobody can keep anybody out. I mean, let David Brooks write every column he wants in the New York Times saying this person should run and that person should run, and it has boo-doo diddly impact on whether or not somebody gets in or gets out.
Yeah, so this whole Politico, flap at the end of October about how a bunch of Republican elites, and they throw your name in with Gillespie and Romney and Pawlenty. They don't want these other people in the running because they're going to just make things more difficult. That was off
when
base.
You start relying upon Politico for insights into the conservative movement, I'm going to start worrying about you, baby. I'm going to get you
Don't worry about me. I'll worry about you.
Weekly Standard for Christmas. Look. We have. How can an elite of some small cabal control a process that starts with 120 to 130,000 people in Iowa?
Pressure is put on people. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're tough enough to run, you're tough enough to run, and may the best person win. That's my view on all of us. I think it's best. Is anyone going to run as a Bush Republican in 2012, and if so, who?
Every one of them is going to run as a Bush Republican by saying, I want to continue the fight in the war on terror, with maybe one or two exceptions, and I want to continue the Bush tax cuts, which is everybody standing up right now and saying. So, but
you think they're going to say Bush Republican? I'm a Bush Republican.
Everybody's going to end up running as their own Republican. They're going to run as a Barber Republican or a Palin Republican or a Romney Republican because at the end of the day, history can't repeat itself precisely. We all can talk about Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan and our great, Barry Goldwater, but at the end of the day, we are who each one of us is, and that's who the American people are going to be voting on, not the person who claims to be grabbing the mantle of some previous president or presidential candidate.
If you could be one character in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Christmas special, which one would it be?
I would be one of the Santa's elves loading the sleigh.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what the Democrats are doing. They're loading the sleigh with goodies for the unions.
No. Look,
you'd be a good elf.
No. Look, the elf is a compassionate conservative giving a child who's deserving of a gift, a bit of compassion, and also checking the list and checking it twice to find out if it's been naughty and nice.